Welcome back. We're going to continue on here with looking at arrays and accessing elements. Actually, it's not arrays, I keep saying that. It's actually vectors and accessing elements in those vectors. So before we do that, I'm going to clear out the values that we have here since we're not going to use those before. So I'm going to remind myself by looking it up how to clear those out. Maybe eventually I will remember this. So it's the list. ls accesses all the variables that are there, the data structures that are there, and then we're going to say all is true. This should do it. There we go. Excellent. Okay, we are picking up right now in the book, if you're following along, on page 35. The first thing that we're going to do is use the min and max function, and we're going to just directly put in here 1, 2, and 3, and then run directly after the statement but on the same line, max. Again, 1, 2, 3, so they're not related, they're just listed out twice, and let's see what happens. There we go, so the first statement, the minimum of those three, the element that was the smallest was 1, and the largest, the maximum, was 3. Nothing unusual about that, I don't think. So the next thing is to put into a vector. What are we doing? Alright, so we're doing characters A, B, C, all the way up to E. Is that right? Yes. So we'll run it. Doesn't show anything down here, but we see here that it put it all in. And the first thing that we're going to do with the square brackets is access the third element. If we want to know what we would expect, since we just put it in there and we can easily see, we would expect the character C to show up. So let's see that. There it goes. Excellent. Alright, so we're going to use another variable, and we're going to put 3 in there. So what we're going to do now is, rather than just putting 3 in here, we're going to, since we know what y is, should show up exactly the same thing. Oh, I didn't run the y. There we go, y is 3, and now the third element is C. That's what we would expect. So we can continue accessing different elements in the array, more than one, and so that's what we're going to do next with Z. Oops. If I can type here. I'm finally starting to get used to this with using the C to put together two elements, and we're going to keep on doing this. So running Z, we now have 1 and 3, and so if we want to access, it looks now the first and the third element. So I'm going to, what I would expect for this to show is the first and the third, so A and C. And there we go. Perfect. Alright, one more. We're going to change what Z is. And Z is going to be 1 all the way through 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And I'm just going to come right back up here and run it one more time. There we go. 1, 2, and 3, the third elements. So what that's distinguishing pretty clearly are ways to access the elements in the array separately. So the next part of this is looking at logical expressions to find out what is in the array. I keep saying array, it's a vector. It's a vector. Alright, so x and equal equal is what will tell us just a logical true or false. So if we want to find out is D in the vector, we can already look up here because we loaded it in, and it should be, oh, what it's going to do is return true or false for every single one of these. So we would expect it to return false, 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 true, and false. Let's see that happen. false, 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 true, and false. Excellent. So the rest of the logical expressions would look, well, okay, looks like he's having us go ahead and load, we'll do a parentheses so it'll show us what's in there immediately down in the console. We'll load into x 10 backwards all the way to 1. Interesting. Okay. There we see it, 10 backwards all the way to 1. And we're going to say x equals 4. So since it's just plain a logical expression and there's a number of values in there, we would expect it to return false, false, false all the way to here. We should have 1 true and the rest are false. Let's run it. We can kind of see them matching up here. There's our true. Alright, we're going to try it again with less than or equal to 7. So we can already look down here and say, which one would we expect? We would expect false, 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 and then all the rest to be true. Let's see it happen. False, 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 all the rest are true. Go us. Alright, we want to know which of x does not equal. Exclamation equals a does not equal 8. So all of them would be true because they do not equal 8 except for this one. Third one over is going to be false. There we go. Alright, let us do, this is going to display it right away. X is greater than 8, or, so the vertical line, for me it's the same key as the backslash right above enter, and less than 3. Let's take a moment and figure out which logically which ones would fulfill that as false and which ones would fulfill that as true. I'll leave it to you to pause this if you want to figure that out for yourself, or you probably already have it in your head. So greater than 8 or less than 3 are going to return true. There's no equal in there, so greater than 8 are going to be here. Less than 3 are going to be here. Those are the only ones that are going to be true. Everything in between there is going to be false. Let's see it happen. There we go. There's our true. Both ends, and false are in the middle. Alright, last one that we're going to do is which. So we're going to say which of the vector equals 4. Now this one should return us a number in the vector to tell us which it is. So since this one, we count how many over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7th one over should be which one? There we go. We wanted to say which one does not equal 8. There should be several, all of them except for 8. So let's see. That lists them all out. So those are all the positions that are not 8. So it's not the numbers in there, it's the positions. Here we go. Alright, so this is the same condition that we did before. X is x are greater than 8, or, oops, x is less than 3. So which are those? Should be our, where's our 1 and 2, and then the last ones, oops, 9 and 10. Let's see that. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and end there, take a break, play around with some logical expressions.